Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctor's Nutrition, located on Callan-Lorraine Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We do this every Monday morning. It is a live call-in show in which we usually have a topic in which we invite you to call in and ask questions regarding that topic. But the first Monday of every month, we do what's called Open Line Monday, which any questions you have about any health issues, please feel free to call in and ask. I'll pass the question along to our producer, and they'll pass it along to us. Our phone lines are 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. So again, this is Open Line Monday, so any questions you have, please feel free to call.
Yeah, one thing we wanted to mention is last week we did the show on anxiety and depression, and after we finished, I was like, oh, there was one thing we didn't even mention, and that is for anxiety and depression, and people probably wouldn't think about it for it, but red light therapy.
Yeah.
We have the red light therapy, and it does wonders for anxiety and depression. People can tell a pretty instant result when they get in, when they have a lot of anxiety. Mm-hmm. And so it is very relaxing, and it is something that we've offered now for a few years. And so it's something that you can come by and you can get a package, or you can try once. Our one-time fee is like $30. Our package for 10 is $250. So, and that's way below what they suggest charging. They suggest charging $55 to $85 a visit. So we go way below that with the fees. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably worth $55 to $85. But at the same time, I'd rather have something that's a little bit more available to the public. It's not about maximizing, results, or as far as money that we get in. It's about helping people.
If we can really does make a difference. It's also good. People always say, what does the red light actually do? And it works on the mitochondria. Mm-hmm. And when you look at mitochondria, there is no doubt that aging is a slowdown of the mitochondria. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about helping the mitochondria and helping the mitochondria detoxify and all that good stuff, you actually help anti-aging. So it's used for anti-aging. There's research for osteoporosis. There's research for arthritis, pain. There is so much out there about red light therapy. If you go and Google red light therapy, you'll see huge amounts of studies that have been done on different things. Right. Helps muscle building, helps muscle recovery with exercise. So there's so many things it does, and it helps your skin. So it helps your skin. Yeah. It even has been shown to help hair growth, but I don't know about you. But
that would be a challenge.
So we forgot to mention that.
Can I just stick my head in it?
And people don't think about, red light therapy for anxiety and depression, but it does make a difference.
It really does.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Questions. My gums are bleeding when I brush my teeth. Am I missing some vitamin deficiency or something wrong in my diet?
She's going to tell you the first thing is CoQ10, which we both agree on.
Definitely.
And I'm going to immediately say vitamin C.
Both.
And which helps, vitamin C helps us make collagen. Now you can take collagen as well, but vitamin C actually helps us make collagen.
It actually helps the vessels not break as easy.
Right.
So that's one thing. But CoQ10 deficiency, definitely one of the things that it causes is gum disease. Mm-hmm. And so when you don't have enough CoQ10, your gums will bleed. And if you're taking a lot of medications are known to deplete CoQ10. So it makes sense that you can actually, there's many medications. Statins and beta blockers are two of the biggies, and there's a lot of people out there on them.
Actually, a lot of people out there on both.
On both, exactly. So if you do take those medications and you do have your gums bleeding, CoQ10 won't only help your gums, it's also going to help your muscles, your heart, your energy level. It's going to help a lot.
Well, the heart's a big muscle. Mm-hmm. So, it's probably the most important guy you got in your body, really.
Yep.
Think about it. that leg muscle, he's pretty helpful if you want to walk around and all, but if you really want to function whatsoever, that heart's comes in pretty handy. It really does.
Okay. What are some signs that I could have gout? My feet have been swelling up.
Well, just generalized edema or swelling is probably not the first thing you'd have that would show it. Joint pain or pain, it could be anywhere in the joint or any joint in the body, really, because the uric acid crystals tend to accumulate there. And if you look at them under a microscope, they look like Viking swords sticking out of
little shards of glass. Yeah,
it's the first time I ever saw one in a microscope back in microbiology. It's like, oh my God, that's in our body, and it's like, geez,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, just these big swords-like things, and they're just poking us. And so, they typically cause a lot more pain, and even, now they always think about the great toe, the big toe.
It doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be.
We've seen gout show up in different places. And
elbows.
Gout
Really?
is in joints.
Hands.
It is in joints, though. I mean,
Around
normally
joints,
you do
yeah.
see it around joints.
Yeah.
And it can be any joint. And it can be hot, red, swollen. That's what you look for. But we've actually seen quite a few people in the last, for some reason lately, more, have almost just real high uric acid, which is what causes gout. And they don't have just one joint that swells up. They just kind of hurt all over. So it is something, what you want to check is a uric acid level. You check a uric acid level, see if it's really high. If it is, there's things you can do to lower it.
Yes.
Yep.
No doubt.
All right. Are there any foods that are good for hair?
Yeah.
Protein's probably.
Please?
But
Okay. Protein's probably the first one I would go to.
it ain't going to make your hair grow back.
No, but unfortunately, no. But it does make hair
But
grow. It's what hair you've got.
protein deficiency makes hair loss.
Yes, and we see so many, we get so many people, I'm gonna say 50 and above, okay, I'm
Yep.
being nice. 50 and above, and they well, what have you got for hair growth? I need biotin, I need blah, blah, blah. Are you eating any protein?
Right.
And they said, I eat chicken. How often? Oh, a couple times a week.
It's not enough.
Yeah, it ain't enough, okay? It takes more than that. We need protein every day, because if you think about it, our DNA codes for protein. That's what DNA does. It codes to make different proteins. And if you don't have enough protein, your DNA is worthless. I mean, because it can't function. So
You mentioned eggs.
Oh,
Eggs
eggs
are
is a good
fine.
protein. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, thing is with protein deficiency makes hair loss, but it also makes weight gain.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you see all these people that come in and have hair loss and weight gain. That's a big complaint we hear from a lot of women. First thing you do want to do is protein. And protein makes a big difference in everything. Your amino acids actually all come from protein, and amino acids is what makes your brain chemicals. So that also affects the anxiety and depression. So it affects a lot to make sure you get enough protein. So we always say eat your protein first, and then you add your veggies and a little bit of fruit and stuff like that. So
So a couple of hard-boiled eggs in the morning would be
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
put some butter on them or something, but real butter, not the fake.
Well, you get the fat in the
Can't
yolk.
believe it's not butter spray.
Yeah,
I can't believe that. No, we don't believe it. I don't believe a
But
thing.
you do get
Yeah.
you do get your fat in your yolk too.
You
So
do,
you
you
can't
do.
just do a hard boiled egg.
And actually, the yolk has some omega-3s, which is really
Yeah.
Remember
important.
the old
And it
black
has
stuff that
K2?
it was bad
Okay.
for your cholesterol.
Pardon?
That eggs were bad for your cholesterol.
It might elevate cholesterol a hair, but the
yeah.
benefits that it's shown it does, I think, outweighs by far increasing your cholesterol. And if you eat tons of it, one thing eating 12 a day, I mean that's a little much,
yeah.
but a few a day I think is fine.
Yeah.
All right. It's 8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Our phone lines are open at 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. It's Open Line Monday, so any questions you have regarding your health, please feel free to give us a call. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. And welcome back. It's 10 minutes after 9 o'clock here on this Monday morning. It's Open Line Monday. So any questions you might have regarding your health, please feel free to call us 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Another caller, and it is that time of the year. It's getting cold and flu season. What can I do to help protect my child?
There's so many things. One of the first ones that we like to do is, of course, we've talked about the arabinogalactans. You need that stuff because that stimulates their immune system. It's a type of fiber. And what we know now about fiber and how fiber interacts in the gut and what it does to the good bacteria in the gut, which is about 70 to 80% of your immune system, and cutting back on the sugars is always going to help a little bit too. But if you get that fiber in there, and arabinogalactan is a wonderful source of that. Just helps stimulate that
And you can
immune
actually
system.
mix a little bit for any age kid.
anything.
I mean, a day-old baby can take arabinogalactan.
And you can mix it with
And
anything.
you can mix it with whatever, and you usually don't taste it if it's mixed with something. With water, you can taste it, and the best.
not great.
But that is one thing. Of course, your vitamin C, the liposomal C, because it is so much more absorbable. So we always say that.
And
Now,
it doesn't take much of it.
zinc is really important for the immune system.
Right.
And even taking quercetin with the zinc has been shown to actually help get the zinc into the cells because quercetin is an ionophore. So it helps get it into the cell. And quercetin at the same time helps allergies. So if your kid has allergies, and quercetin is safe for kids as well. And we do have a DHIS that's specifically DHIS Junior that has got the quercetin specifically for kids. So there's a lot of things that you can do. We also tell people to have on hand the Olivir.
Oh yeah.
Because if you do get sick, it is the first thing you want to start taking. And it can be given to kids as well. It doesn't taste well when you open the capsule, so if they can't swallow, doesn't very tasty. But it is okay to give
You
them.
can mix it with some things, and I've tried this because I'm going to try it before I tell somebody, hey, this stuff. That's like liquid fish oil. We got that in. I said I got to try this, and sure enough, it was like okay. But you can put it in something like to me, applesauce wasn't bad. You mix it, it's kind of weird applesauce at that point. It's got the olive leaf in it, but it at least kind of cuts that flavor because pure. If you just put that in,
Yeah,
it's
bad.
I mean,
Olivir does not have a good taste.
No.
But it is antibacterial, antiviral, antiparasite, antifungal. So it's a really good thing to have on hand during the winter.
Right.
But, everybody knows your basics and your vitamin D. I mean, there's nothing better than to keep the vitamin D levels up. And in kids, it's just as important. We see, when we do lab work on kids, we see their vitamin D levels just as low as their parents. So it is something that is not, you don't have to be older to start having a vitamin D deficiency. We see it in many kids that we do lab work on. I'd say most kids. They don't get outside anymore. So they don't get outside, and with winter coming, they're going to get outside less. So vitamin D is very important. We have a liquid for little kids. We have a chewable. We have a gummy. We have a pill that you swallow.
She likes the gummies.
Well, I used to, but I stopped it because of the sugar.
Okay, let's see. You were talking about eggs a while ago. What other kind of foods do you suggest for a healthy breakfast?
You want to see proteins and fats. The last thing we need is carbohydrates. Everybody thinks, oh, you got to get up, you got to have some carbohydrates. You do not need them. You need the proteins and fats. And of course, typically, if you take your proteins, you're going to get a little fat with it. Like, for instance, an egg. Okay, it's got fats, it's got protein, it's even got some carbohydrate in it, but it's a good carbohydrate. So things like that. So, eggs are really a good food for breakfast.
But your sugary things is the worst thing you can do.
You don't want to do that.
People do the sugary foods, the pancakes and the waffles with syrup and
French toast.
And French toast, and I mean, you do all that.
I made French toast for breakfast yesterday morning. So.
What does all that sugar do to you later on? It makes you crash. And so you are so tired afterwards. You might be okay for a few hours, gives you a little energy, and then you crash. So it's not necessarily what you want first thing in the morning to get you going.
Yeah.
So.
And we need the proteins. Again, back to proteins are that important to us that we really have to start out looking for protein. Okay, I mean, that was so important to our ancient ancestors. I mean, that's what, they didn't go out and slave broccoli. Well, they didn't really have broccoli, but anyhow, well, they had something that looked like, it kind of looked like broccoli, but they didn't go out. They went out and, to be a Tyrannosaurus or whatever, we want some protein because they knew they had to have protein. They just instinctively knew, got to have that protein.
And actually, I do a protein drink most of the time myself because I'm not a big breakfast eater. Now, on the weekends, I'll cook a big breakfast sometimes, but, our breakfast, we do the eggs and more of organic ham and things like that. So we will actually do some of the really good.
Are yard eggs actually better than
regular? They are. Yard eggs are definitely better than regular eggs.
Going to have way more omega-3s in them, okay, because they're going to eat bugs and stuff like that.
They eat the stuff that chickens are supposed to eat. And they're supposed to eat just whatever they find in the yard.
Whatever.
And if you ever look at a yard egg compared to a grocery store egg, the yolk is so much more yellow orange. It's dark. And that's what has all your nutrients. So the darker the color of the yolk, the better the egg is for you. Yep. And even the organic eggs that you buy in the grocery store, because we do buy them if we don't have the yard eggs, but we get yard eggs most of the time.
We need to build a chicken
there's a
coop
big
in your
difference.
backyard.
No, he's mentioned it. don't egg him on.
Okay. Oh, I love the joke. Don't egg him on. Okay, we've got funny here now.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, but I have some friends here that have yard eggs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, we've got a lady that brings.
We have a lady that brings them to the store, and we buy them from her. Anything that she don't eat, we buy for the rest of our staff. We can't sell them because there's all kind of regulations on selling stuff. But we actually, our whole staff eats the yard eggs that she brings.
Really?
Yeah.
No wonder they're so peppy all the time.
Yeah.
So they're actually, but that is the best kind of eggs. If you know somebody that has chickens, or if you can get chickens, that is your best way.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. 16 minutes after 9 o'clock, our phone lines are open at 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. What are some symptoms of a vitamin D deficiency?
or you name it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, everything from fibromyalgia to chronic fatigue syndrome, pain all over, you name it.
Just hurting all over,
yeah.
tired all the time. Those are
Vitamin D.
usually what you hear from everybody that has a vitamin D deficiency. Getting sick all the time. We just mentioned how important it was to the immune system. And so people get sick often that have vitamin D deficiencies. And so there's something that you definitely want to, easy to check and easy to increase. That is one thing I can say. There's not many people that you can say, oh, I can't bring up their vitamin D. We can give somebody enough vitamin D to bring it up. I mean, that's, it's easy to do something about.
Yes.
All right.
No doubt about
Yeah.
it.
17 minutes now after 9 o'clock, and we're going to come back with some more of your questions here in just a couple of moments, and also have this week's special. It's 896-0713, 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. Give us a call. And welcome back. It's 19 minutes after 9 o'clock here on this Monday morning. It's our Open Line Monday, so you can call in and ask any kind of question you want to regarding your health. Let's go ahead and check out what this week's special is.
Yeah, it's this week we're going to put on Doctors, it's called DN, or Doctors Nutrition Better Rest Formula. Because sleep is so important, it really is. And we get so many people that come in that don't sleep well. I mean, it's a pandemic out there, it really is. Because there's so many people that come in that just don't sleep well.
I think a lot of it's due to stress.
I'm sure a lot of it is due to stress, yeah.
Stress actually
Anxiety.
is one of the big
Anxiety,
things you
you
hear
name
about a
it,
lot of people, and stress makes
Well,
you
everything
not
that's
sleep
going
as
on in the
well.
world right now.
Right. So
Yeah.
the DN Better Rest, it contains your melatonin, because people
Right.
ask about melatonin, and for the 2 pills you take at bedtime, it does have your 5 milligrams of melatonin, but it has a lot of other things mixed with it
Right.
in order to help relaxation. So it doesn't just have melatonin, and it works a lot better than melatonin by itself.
It really does.
So
yeah.
it's worth trying. Everybody's different on what helps them for sleep, and I always tell people you just got to try things until you find what's best for you.
There you go. Question, what is the healthiest time to eat dinner?
Early.
About 4 hours before you crash and go to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, and you know, and most people don't do that. You know, and what really kind of confuses me sometimes about people, they'll eat late. I'm talking about eat 9 o'clock at night.
Can't do that.
No,
No,
me
no,
neither.
no.
I can't do that.
And then they complain about their gastrointestinal problems. Okay, that's the best way in the world to keep a GI doctor in business, is eat late, and you're going to have problems. Okay, so yeah, if you get about, and research is showing about 4 hours prior to bedtime. So if you go to bed at say 10, and by about 6 you need to be done. And because
Go to
if
bed
you
at
don't,
9, you want to eat by 5.
yeah, and because that's really what.
Well, that's where I'm kind of fudging a little bit there, because I'll eat around 5:30 when I get home, cook dinner or whatever, and then of course go to bed around 9 o'clock.
Well, it's sometimes, you know, working kind of messes up schedules sometimes, because, I mean, you
But
get off at a
I
certain
don't
time.
eat a heavy meal. That's one thing.
Well,
that,
you don't
know,
want to eat heavy at night.
No.
You really
I
don't.
actually, on days we work, I eat like a bite of something.
At
That's
night.
it.
Yeah.
Because it's too late. We don't get home. By the time we eat, it's like 6:30, and we go to bed by probably 9:30. So it's kind of like I eat a bite. And when I say he eats a little bit more because he's so skinny he has to, but I actually don't.
No,
So-
you know, if I go out on the weekend, you know, usually the latest we try to go out early enough to where we're done eating by 7.
Yeah.
But and then you know, I know it's usually not. It's not too late before you get to bed, but not any good. Question: digestive system is
Injury.
Uh,
What can I help? Is injured, or what can I use to help digest food better?
Definitely digestive enzymes.
Definitely.
It makes a huge difference in digestion.
Now, your probiotics are important too,
Yeah.
but at the same time, first thing we always talk about, especially as we get more mature, I don't like the O word, so as we mature, we tend to make less of those digestive enzymes, and we've got to have digestive enzymes in our GI system to break down that food and process it so we can absorb what we're supposed to absorb. And if we don't, you got all kind of problems. And so that's probably the number one thing.
Now, if you truly have, now the question, the way it was worded, it was hard to kind of understand, but if you actually have an injury in the digestive system or a really bad digestive system, we do have something called GI Essentials that heals the lining of the GI system. It actually helps the esophagus, stomach, intestines, colon, and it actually just helps the healing process, because if you do have it inflamed, you are not going to actually digest properly either. So our GI Essentials plays a huge role in helping heal the digestive tract. And then at the same time, somebody that has that big of a problem will definitely say, make sure you take your enzymes and probiotics as well.
Yeah, probiotics, I mean, we've talked about probiotics, I guess, ad infinitum, on the show over the years. And people probably think, yeah, they just got a broken record there. But it's a fact. I mean, look at the research and the data. Go back 15 years ago, and you can't really find that much in the data. I mean, there was a little bit coming out about the probiotics and what they did, but we were really kind of dumb about them. We really just didn't ignorant. Let's put it ignorant.
Well, I was just reading that article this weekend about it helping reduce the chances of dementia and Alzheimer's by taking probiotics. And it wasn't specific on which probiotic. It just said probiotics in general, the research was done on.
Well, yeah, go back about, I was going to say, if you go back 15 years, you didn't hear anything.
Then,
now you go back 10, you've seen all kind of stuff.
There was the study also on reflux.
Yes.
And actually helping, they did a study where they took a group of people and gave them basically one specific probiotic, which is the Lactobacillus rhamnosus. Mm-hmm. They gave them that probiotic. They gave the other group one of the over-the-counter acid reducers, mm-hmm. and then they gave the third group a combination of both. And they actually showed that the two groups that did the best were the ones that actually had the probiotic in it, not the one that actually had the acid.
Well, I
reducer.
remember a few years back I started having some stomach issues and everything like that.
Yeah.
And y'all put me on probiotics, Flora
mm-hmm.
50B.
Yeah.
Right.
Take one every day.
And it has the rhamnosus in it.
It does, and it's
so
50 billion colony forming units.
Right.
Because what people don't realize.
Quite a difference.
Yeah, what folks don't realize is, so many of the foods that you eat, so many of the things that you drink, foods that we consume, kill these bacteria. I mean, it's a death sentence to the bacteria. And so, we don't eat things like, I asked somebody last week I said, you ever eat any fermented foods like, I don't know, sauerkraut or anything? Oh my God, no. I thought, really? I mean, gee, that's good stuff, but no, and I guess, if you go back, when long time ago when rocks were still cooling off when I was a kid, we ate things like that. We had to. I mean, that was just part of it. You had a whole bunch of cabbage. You can't throw it away. You can't feed it to the pigs or whatever. You make sauerkraut, and and the more sour it was, the better. I don't know.
I love cabbage so much that there usually wasn't any left. So.
There wasn't any left. Okay. Well, we always had enough to make sauerkraut, and kraut was so good. That homemade stuff is just unbelievable. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Are there any early signs for chronic kidney disease?
High blood pressure.
That's probably the first.
If people start having kidney problems, even before they have any real symptoms, a lot of times the blood pressure will go up because the kidneys are so important in regulating blood pressure. So if your blood pressure is starting to go up, you always just want to get your kidneys checked. Yeah. Sometimes with early kidney disease, you don't have any symptoms. Right. I mean, and some people with high blood pressure don't have any symptoms. It's just you take your blood pressure and it's high. So it depends on the person. Of course, when you start getting advanced kidney disease, there's all kind of symptoms.
Anemia
and fatigue and a lot of other stuff that goes with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are over to you. We've got just about a minute or two left.
Okay.
Cool.
So, cool. What are we talking about next week?
Next week, we're going to talk about B vitamins.
Yeah. It's really amazing how many people don't understand.
Right.
There's a bunch of
B
them.
vitamins. Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Quite a few, yeah.
What are the
effects?
Effects, I can't even read that word.
I think that's not spelled right.
Yeah, okay.
Used
but that's
diabetes paired with metformin.
Honestly, we can't read that first
I think it's supposed to be berberine.
Okay, is it berberine?
Yeah.
And the berberine and metformin work almost identically alike, so
so
great stuff.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this morning, and we will see you again next Monday morning here on WLOX CBS.
For more information on highlighting your business and services on Healthy Living South Mississippi, contact Jim Tabor at 896-1313.